Hey, welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner and another Photoshop Elements video tutorial. Now, this tutorial today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the differences, as you've seen in the title, between Photoshop Elements 14 and the newly released Photoshop Elements 15. So let's go ahead and we're going to go right to the computer here and take a look. So let's go ahead and get started. So on the left, you will see that I have Photoshop Elements 14. This is the version that a lot of you are currently using right now. And you might even be using a version that may be a little bit older than that. Click on this. We'll click on this one. On the right, we have, let's bring this one up, the new Photoshop Elements 15, just released this week. So it's out there and it's ready for you to purchase. Now, the purchase price on Photoshop Elements 15 is $79. And I've been telling a lot of people already on our Facebook group, and the Facebook group is Jack's Tech Corner. I've been telling a lot of people on the Facebook group, you may want to wait until over the holidays, because when you get closer to the holidays, that price point is going to drop. I've seen it as low as $39 for some reason over the holidays. Photoshop or Adobe likes to drop that pricing, so you'll get a better deal. But if it's something you have to have today, then rush out and buy it right away. We're going to look at some differences to see, is it worth buying at all? Have they added enough new stuff for you to purchase it? So we're going to start here with the quick edit on Photoshop Elements 14. You can see we have the traditional stuff that we've always had: Smart Fix, exposure, lighting, color, balance, and sharpen. And now on the brand new released Elements 15, we have Smart Fix, exposure, lighting, color, balance, and sharpen. So nothing new here. Everything stayed the same in the quick fix. The first bit of magic that we're going to see that happened is under the guided edit. So under the guided edit, I can go back here to basic, and the guided edit here under basic, we can see that the basic guided edits have not changed. You have brightness and contrast, correct skin tone, crop and crop photos, levels, light and darken on both sides, resize your photo on both sides, rotate and straighten, sharpen, and vignette effect. Then on the color, let's check out the color here. And the color in 15, you can see we have enhanced color, the Lomo camera effect, the remove color cast, and the saturated film effect. Now, if you've never used any of these, I have to go ahead and tell you right now that you want to jump over to jtclearning.com. That's jtclearning.com, and take one of my Photoshop Elements training courses. And I teach every one of these and how they work, so you can use all these great tools on your photos. So once again, it's jtclearning.com for one of the Photoshop Elements courses. We're going to go to black and white here and take a peek. Black and white, we have obviously black and white. We have black and white color pop, black and white selection, high key, line drawing, and low key. So they're both exactly the same, left and right here. Fun edits. Let's go to fun edits over here. And we start to see that, they added some stuff, but what did they add? Well, we have old-fashioned effects over here, and then we have old-fashioned effects over here. But wait, there's a new one at the very beginning. And this one is called the Effects Collage. Now, the Effects Collage, I'll show you how these work later down the road, not in this video. We're just looking at the differences for this segment of the tutorial or the training Photoshop Elements, just to introduce you to the new features. But I will be showing you how these work in future videos. Out of bounds, we have on both sides as well. Oh, wait, paint tree. We don't have paint tree over here. So paint tree allows us to paint really interesting. You can see the before and then the after. It allows us to paint really cool effects on our photos and change those around a little bit. Another something new they added here is something called photo text. Photo text, if you look at the before and then we start sliding to the after, you can see where the photo becomes embedded into your text. And I did teach just a while back. You can do this by hand if you have earlier versions, but now they made it really easy to do in the guided edit under Fun Edits. Then we have Picture Stack, which we had Picture Stack before, so okay, that's the same. Pop Art, we had Pop Art before. Puzzle Effect, we had Puzzle Effect before. Reflections, the reflections we had before. The Speed Effect, we had Speed Effect, but oh wait, there's something new called Speed Panning. Now, we practice speed panning, and I taught this a while back also. Speed panning is when you take your camera and you focus on your subject and you move your camera with the subject. What you start doing is blurring the background out, but keeping the subject in focus as you're moving that camera. Well, now we can do it very easily in Photoshop Elements. So if you have trouble capturing this with your camera, you can come in here and you can do it very easily just by doing some photo edits. And you can see it blurs the background and it makes your subject look like they're moving faster. Here we're on the right bottom. The last one is something called Zoom Burst, and we have Zoom Burst on this side. If we go now into the special edits, now we're going to go to special edits over here, we'll see that we have depth of field, which we had depth of field before, and that's always a good thing to learn how to play with. It's very interesting. And if you remember, depth of field is when we get a good shallow depth of field, is when a lot of people do this with flowers I've seen or people. You take your picture of something that's focused and it blurs out the background. That's exactly what depth of field is doing. Now we can do that in the editor. So if you can't capture it in the camera, it's very nice to capture this in the editor itself. The next one is, oh wait, that's something new. It's not in Photoshop Elements 14, but in 15 we have Frame Creator. Now, Frame Creator will allow you to make your own custom frames based on whatever you want to do and however you want to play around with it. And then you can use those frames. You'll save them with the Frame Creator, and then they'll go into your frame palette. When you're on the expert mode, you can choose frames, and they will be in there for you to use. The Orton effect we can see is on both. The portrait effect, we had that before. Perfect portrait, we've had that before. Recompose, Recompose is on 14 and 15. Restore an old photograph. I showed you how to do this a while back by hand, but you can definitely scan an old photograph and you can put it through Restore Old Photo, and then you can transform that picture, and we've had that in both. Scratches and blemishes, kind of the same as restoring a photo. You take one of those old photographs and you fold it, you crease it, you find it in an old box. Well, now you can restore that photo and make it like new again. Tilt shift, is one of my favorites to play with, and you can see that there is a tilt shift. So that is not new. It's something that was in 14. We're going to look at photo merge under guided edit just to make sure that we got everything going on here okay. Photo merge, we had recompose, photo merge recompose, or photo merge compose, I'm sorry. Exposure, and we have exposure over here, photo merge exposure. So we can, and this is when you're exposing, and we teach in photography all the time, when you hold your camera up and you're going to take a level or take a reading for your exposure. If you want your subject to be better exposed, you can move the camera back, or you can expose meter for the background, take your photograph, and then your background's going to have better exposure, or meter for the foreground, and your foreground will have better exposure, and that will drop the back out, if that makes any sense at all. But we can do that anyway in Photoshop Elements. Photo merge faces, we can do that. In 14, we had group shot. In 15, we have group shot. So it looks like they didn't remove anything. They did add a few new features. The screen cleaner, here's a screen cleaner here, and that's if somebody photo bombs you, they walk through and they photo bomb you, you can easily remove that person, and we've shown you a lot of ways to remove people from photographs. And then the panorama. Okay, the panorama takes some pictures together and stretch those babies out and make them into a really nice panoramic shot. So that is the differences. We had really most of it under Your fun edits, you've seen mostly they're under there, and there's the frame creator in special edits. So that is stuff that is added. Is that a make or a break? I don't know. Is that something you may want to have? You may want to wait and watch some of my future videos here on YouTube and see these being used in real world, and we'll take a look at each one of those and how they work. The next, we're going to look at the expert mode. We'll go back over here to expert mode. All the tools that I have found have stayed the same. Okay, so the tools up here, you got the move tool, all the standard tools, the rectangular marquee tool, the lasso tool, this in the quick selection tool. All of these tools have stayed the same. We're not going to name them all. If you would like to learn all these tools, once again, if you take one of those courses at jtclearning.com, I teach every one of those tools, and you will know how to use each one of those to enhance your photos. Now, what they did change, and what's really interesting, something new they did add, is something that you'd be looking around for while I was trying to figure out, well, where is that? I'm going to look at my notes I wrote here this morning and make sure that I'm covering everything I wanted to cover with you. Yep, auto text, speed pan, enhanced search. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's something we're going to show you before I actually show you the other tool that is really a good selling point for this version. But we can group layers now. Now, what grouping layers is, we've been doing this in Photoshop for a long time. So if you're a fan of Photoshop, now you can be a fan of it in Photoshop Elements. So if we have multiple layers and you're working on your layers, and let's say these layers pertain to each other. Let's say this might be a text layer. I can rename these, as we always could. You can rename the layer text, and we'll rename this layer something easy to go with there, maybe text background. But the idea of grouping layers is very easy. You would hold your control key down. Oops, I'm sorry. Hold your shift key down, and you would group those two layers. So you hold those two layers, light them up together, and if you want another layer, you can hold your control key down, control or command on a Mac, hold those down and select your layers. And now what you want to do is group those. And the reason we want to group those is because then those layers will work together. We can move them together. We can enlarge them together. Everything you would do with a layer or anything on that layer. So now it's interesting because you're going to use Command G. Command G. And of course, it's not going to work when you're doing a demo. Let's see here if we can do it this way. And we'll go under Layer and Group Layers. Okay. So now they are grouped together. And you can see you have Group 1. Now you can rename this group and make that say it's our text. It's what we're doing with our text. So it's a text group. And if you click this little triangle, you can see that those are all now grouped together. So now if we are using Command or Control G to do that, then what happened to our clipping mask or grouping together? Okay, when we group the two photos together, if you do a Command Alt G, you can see now where that is placed on top, right there. Okay, so now this layer is only going to be affecting this bot layer right below it. Okay, so, and you remember we've done that a lot in the past. I want to delete that. Let me see here. The clipping mask. So that is the clipping mask, and not to be confused with whatever I said earlier. I'm so sorry. But I'm just so excited with this new version, folks, of playing around here all day today and learning these great new tools for you. But it's a clipping mask. So if we release that, and it used to always be it was Command or Control G would create a clipping mask. But now it's Command and Alt or Control and Alt G to create that clipping of those two parts together. Okay, let's let that go. All right, so we're going to go over here and we're going to revert that. And that should get rid of all that. It does. What I'm going to show you now here is something that is going to absolutely blow you away. I think this is one of those selling points where you may, in fact, want to go out and spend the $79 for this upgrade because it's going to save a lot of photos for you. And where that is, let me make sure I have it here. It is, let me look here, make sure I got it in my notes. It is under Enhance and then Adjust Facial Features. Okay, Enhance, Adjust Facial Features. And what it allows us to do, of course, it didn't pick up the facial features here. Let's see if I can grab another photograph. Let's see if we can pick out something else here where it may, in fact, be easier to pick it out. Or maybe we'll just crop this. Let's just crop this down a little bit here and see if we can't crop it down a little bit more and just get the people here. So this is something that's going to save you when somebody has, when they're frowning or something's going down. We're going to try this again, see if we can pick it up here this time. Enhance facial features. And here you go. So now it has the faces. And anywhere the blue dot is, it's going to enhance that feature. All right. So we're going to actually try to bring this picture up here. Okay. So you can see where my daughter over here on the far right is not smiling as much as everybody else. So I can come over here and I can click on, this is the lip area. You can make her smile more. So you can bring her mouth up just a little bit. And I just wanted to show you this. We're going to demo this another time here. We would take the lower lip there and pull it back a little bit just to give her more of a little smile. She is not looking up. There's stuff we can do with the eyes. We can tilt the eyes. We can get the height difference on the eyes. And she does have glasses on. But I wanted to mainly show you that you can adjust the overall smile. I think that's really, really important. We'll try to do it on my stepdaughter here. We will just bring her smile up a little bit. Look at her lips coming up. So her lips are coming up a little bit. The lower lip here. And the lower lip, you're actually changing the size. So if you decrease the size, it's going to change that smile. But this is one of those little, they always talk about killer apps. This is one of those killer areas. So let's look at the before picture and the after picture. You can see now where the smile is a lot more detailed. So it's really, really cool. And click on cancel because I don't want to do that with that photograph. And I'm going to revert my photo and take that crop off of there just like so. So let's go back here and look. That is really the last thing I wanted to show you. We just went into crop here. So we're into crop is what's called, this is something new they added to called perspective crop tool. Now, if I click on that, and we're going to do a crop, you can see where we can change the perspective of the crop, and we can pull it down a little bit. And you can just do a lot with this crop. Now, we used to do this with the selection tool. We used to be able to change the perspective of the crop. Let's just say we click OK. And you can see there now, it's one of those things where if you take one of those shots, especially in front of a building or something, the building is leaning, we can change that and almost straighten that building out. And you can do it with a straighten tool also. But I wanted to show you that they did add that to Photoshop Elements 15. So folks, between the two, again, on the left here is Photoshop Elements 14. On the right is Photoshop Elements 15. Those are some great new tools I just showed you to compare the two different versions. And I feel that, I upgrade every year because obviously I teach Photoshop Elements to many people out there in the world. And, I'll still have to say, we'll still have to see, but if it's a worthwhile version upgrade. But if those new tools are something you like, and I would suggest, again, watch my concurrent videos from this one. You will see some videos coming about how to use each one of those tools, and we'll dig into them a little deeper. But watch those and check out how they're used, and then you'll say, "Well, it's either a killer app or it's not." But that facial feature is pretty cool. Oops, come on, let's revert that. Okay, put that back. Um, but yeah, under the enhance and the adjust facial features, that is just a really, really worthwhile part of the app overall. So it's one thing they threw in there. Now, if they only had that, I would say don't buy it for $79, but we will dig into the other ones. Folks, thank you so much for watching my videos here on Jack's Tech Corner. I do appreciate you coming back. This is a great, exciting time of the year for me. Every year is when the new Photoshop Elements is released. I take great pride in creating great new Photoshop Elements videos for everybody out there. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me hear your comments, and let me hear if you're going to be purchasing the new version. And remember to learn all the tools. Once again, go to jtclearning.com. You can't go wrong. There's hundreds of people in those courses right now, and I get positive emails and responses all the time on how excited they are that they took the course. I'll talk to you next time. Take care, everybody, and bye for now.